Youth protection begins with each of you, each parent, scout leader, charter organization, and the youth that we serve. Hi, I'm JT Dabbs, Scout Executive of the Greater Alabama Council Boy Scouts of America, and I'm joined today by scouts and scout leaders of Troop 320, who recently returned from the Vulcan District Camp Parade. They had a fun, slightly rainy, and safe adventure, and like any good troop, pack, or crew, they follow the BSA safety guidelines. A very important part of scouting safely is the BSA Youth Protection Guidelines. The Boy Scouts of America has recently updated its youth protection resources, and I would like to share with you the highlights and go over with you some of the key points. First, any person looking to become a registered leader in scouting must complete the BSA's youth protection training before they register. Youth protection training is mandatory for any volunteer who participates in an outing that lasts longer than 72 hours. And units may not recharter unless and until all adult leaders are trained in the BSA's youth protection. Let's review some of the updates to our youth protection training and policies.
The Boy Scouts of America Updated Youth Protection Training Overview 2018. The Boy Scouts of America cannot and will not sit idle in the war against child abusers. Mike Serbaugh, Chief Scout Executive. Updated Youth Protection. The BSA is introducing the next generation of youth protection for our organization. It represents an evolution in our approach and is more than just new training modules. The BSA's commitment to youth protection. Youth protection is our primary responsibility. It requires sustained vigilance from staff, volunteers, and youth members. We work every day to protect children through mandatory youth protection policies and procedures at every level of our organization. Our youth protection measures include extensive background checks and required youth protection training for our adult leaders. Achieving the mission in a challenging environment. 1 out of 4 girls and 1 out of 6 boys will experience some form of sexual abuse before the age of 18. Approximately 75% of sexual abuse is committed by family members or others known to the child and parents. 40% of children have been victims of 2 or more forms of violence. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for young people between 10 and 24. Best practices in youth protection. As part of our commitment to continuous improvement, we constantly evaluate and reinvest resources where needed to strengthen our policies. We regularly consult with survivors, experts from law enforcement, child safety, psychology, and other relevant fields. Experts have determined our youth protection policies are ahead of or in line with society's knowledge of abuse and best practices for prevention. Youth protection standards. We strive to prevent child abuse through comprehensive policies and procedures including ongoing youth protection education for all volunteers, parents, and youth members. A formal selection and screening process for adult leaders and staff that include criminal background and other checks. Requiring 2 or more adult leaders be present with youth at all times during scouting activities. A volunteer screening database system to prevent the registration of individuals who do not meet the BSA standards due to known or suspected abuse or misconduct inside or outside the organization. Youth protection policy updates. Our updated youth protection policy includes 1. Any person looking to become a registered leader in scouting must complete the BSA's youth protection training before registering. 2. Youth protection training is mandatory for any volunteer who participates in an outing lasting longer than 72 hours. 3. Units may not recharter unless and until all adult leaders are trained in the BSA's youth protection. Updated youth protection training. In February 2018, we are rolling out our updated youth protection training for staff, leaders, and parents. The training will include a 3-module course that all leaders will be required to complete: BSA's youth protection policies and procedures, sexual abuse, and bullying. Additional youth protection modules will become available throughout the year to provide leaders information on recognizing and preventing other types of child abuse. Training is available online 24/7 at www.scouting.org/youthprotection. Support for survivors. Nothing is more important than the safety of our youth members. Even one instance of child abuse is unacceptable, and we are outraged there have been times when our best efforts to protect youth were not enough and Scouts were abused. We sincerely apologize to victims and their families, and we are committed to providing ongoing support for them, including counseling. Support is available to anyone currently or previously involved in Scouting through our dedicated 24-hour Scouts First helpline and email contact address. Who to contact? Youth protection training and policy questions addressed to Michael V. Johnson, 972-580-2359, or email michaelv.johnson@scouting.org. Youth protection training at my.scouting. Call National Member Care at 972-580-2489. Report suspected inappropriate activity or obtain support and counseling at 844-SCOUTS-1 or 844-726-8871 or email at scoutfirst@scouting.org, SCOUTS1ST@scouting.org. Media inquiries addressed to PR@scouting.org. Safe environment beyond youth protection. Youth protection requires sustained vigilance and is not limited to annual training. Additional youth protection content is available on Scouting Wire and our social channels, all intended to keep safety top of mind for leaders and parents. In addition to content, the BSA also recommends that every meeting in Scouting include a safety moment. These safety moments may include information, tips, guidelines, and best practices for staying safe in Scouting and every day. A full listing of safety moments can be found at www.scouting.org/health-and-safety. Take the lead in your community. Beyond completing the required updated youth protection, you can become a subject matter expert by attending a youth protection webinar. Become an advocate for youth protection training in your service area. Ensure every volunteer in your area of responsibility is trained. Implement safety moments at every meeting at the unit, district, council, area, and region levels. Offer courses on the updated youth protection training at commissioner colleges, University of Scouting, and other training events. Or talk to other organizations and community leaders about the steps Scouting is taking to protect youth. Final thoughts. Keeping our youth safe will require sustained vigilance from each and every one of us. By working together and never letting up, we can continue to serve America's youth in the safest possible way. Thank you for your continued support of Scouting.
Being prepared and planning for each activity and outing is the Scouting way. Take a look at the updated resources on scouting.org, a link to which you will find at the end of this video. Also, the new youth protection training is now available through your my.scouting.org account. And by October 1st, 2018, all new and currently registered leaders will be required to complete the updated training. Thanks to each of you for all that you do for Scouting and keeping our Scouts and the youth of our community safe. You make a difference, and for that we are grateful. Keeping our youth safe will require a sustained vigilance from each and every one of us. By working together and never letting up, we can continue to serve America's youth in the safest possible way.